Hey everybody, we're back. Quantum Fest 2. You notice the title, we're live. Okay, and in review, I did the Estes session and we talked about it. We got to review that stuff, right? Because apparently I was making sense with direct answers. I barely remember what I said because, you process and delete. That's kind of what you do. And Chris got scratches on his back and arms. Check my channel. It'll be on after the fest recordings. I made a video documenting what was going on. And also, of these 3 cat ball lights I've got, the one over there started lighting up all by itself. And we checked to see, could these things be set off with anything else? No. We were banging on tables and, yeah, you have to touch it. Let me show you. One of these, right? One of these. Thanks, Timu. One of these. But, okay, you have to pick it up and touch it. Because we were banging on, I got it set on an amp over here. He was banging on the amp, banging on the windowsill. Nothing, right? Not this one, but the one over on the windowsill went off. So we're still reviewing. And I'm setting the cat ball. Oh. That's what they sound like when you drop them. That's real research, people. It's not broken. That stuff's tough. It's made for cats. Did you set that one off?
No. I did not say it. That was the second time that one went crazy.
Did you touch it at all right now?
No.
It went off?
It went off by itself.
Wow.
Welcome to the Quantum Fest. This is it. So,
Renee says, hi, Nathan, and welcome everybody. We saw the first video. Very interesting.
Yeah. I would have started with a slideshow, but that didn't work. Would have started with a bunch of pictures. That didn't work. The show must go on. Here I am. We did the Estes method. Thanks for coming, Renee. Appreciate it. Okay. We didn't even get to do a proper welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the Quantum Fest. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Nathan, for y'all who don't know. My name is Nathan. I kind of got pushed into being a paranormal researcher by all the crazy stuff happening around me all the time. And I don't know why, but I notice these things. Most people don't even notice when the paranormal and stuff is upon them. So here we are. And we couldn't turn the mics on. So I'm projecting. Hopefully the sound is good. Somebody say sound check, and Tim will see if the sound check is good. There's a lag. And not a ghost.
The unknown says, what do you need? I'm here. Laugh out loud.
So we
sounds good too.
Hit like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum. That's what I need. And yeah, okay. So
Rachel asks, are you going to do this method again today?
Probably not, but I don't know. We could, because apparently we're attracting attention, and somebody is showing up. Looks like a spirit or a couple spirits, because we've had ghost balls go off, cat balls go off. Poor Chris got scratched, and yeah, but okay. And that, if you saw the first segment, it kind of got scary. Didn't mean for that to happen, but that's what happened. So that leads us into the haunted girl or the possessed girl. Okay. Now, that was supposed to be the second segment, but here we are. And okay, I was in the Army, and I was a chaplain assistant. I had just started practicing paganism as a way of life, right? I had just begun. I had been Buddhist for a long time, for like a year and a half, but I just started practicing paganism because Buddhism left me with a hollow spot, right? Okay,
Who did?
Buddhism, the
Oh.
practice of Buddhism left me with kind of a hollow feeling. Yeah, like I lost my sense of self. So I looked at paganism. And okay, I was working as a chaplain assistant. Now, I had been just starting paganism, right? And we were about to get deployed. I went to Saudi Arabia from El Paso, Fort Bliss. And in the meantime, before the run up to it, I was still a chaplain assistant at Chapel 1, right? And I was low man on the totem pole, E1, E2. So I was doing all the yard work, of course. And they told me, clear out the courtyard.
Latrine duty, isn't it?
I had that too. Latrine duty. I had that too. Except they were nice indoor latrines. And okay, I was told, take care of the courtyard, clean the courtyard, get the grown up, out of control bushes and brush and weeds. This is El Paso, Fort Bliss. So it was the desert. So stuff grows, right? And I had to cut down this small tree. Now this is lead up to the haunted girls, all right? Had to cut down this small tree. And I didn't like doing it. Everything I learned in Buddhism, I didn't like cutting down a tree. Trees are holy for almost everyone, okay? But it was do that or get in trouble or get busted, probably kicked out of the army for not cutting down a small tree. I had to make the decision. So Buddhist me meditated while I cut the tree down. And then, lo and behold, we got distracted. Another project came up, so I had to leave everything. Nobody else continued and go do something else, right? Whatever they were telling me to do. I don't even remember. Well, a year goes by. They pull back the deployment thing, right? They pull back before I get actually, oh, we're not going, we're going, we're not going, we're going. You know how they do. Peace talks were winning out, which was good. Okay. So a year goes by and my sergeant major says, okay, Alan, go ahead and finish that courtyard. And I get to finish in the courtyard. I get back to it and I find the tree that I cut down is still there. And it is now seasoned in the desert for a year. So it is workable wood. This is a church courtyard, right? Church courtyard. I was meditating while I was doing it. Asking the tree, I have no choice, right? Telling the tree, I have no choice. I'm sorry, thank you. What's that sound like, right? Didn't know what I was doing. So I stripped it, cleaned it, sanded it, put some kind of little wax on it. I don't remember, this was 30 years ago. And I put a walking stick together, and it was not a great, awesome one. It was only about yay tall, right? Only about yay tall. But the trunk, I flipped it upside down so the thick part was on top, and it kind of went up like that. It had one rough spot on it on the tip, right? Where I was sawing it, got impatient and tried to break it off. And of course, at the time it was wet. So it splintered a little bit. So I was like, oh man. So I just kept sawing it and sawed it. So it was a little rough on the tip that hits the ground. But after seasoning, it wasn't that rough. And after I finished working it, could not get a splinter. Okay? Could not. It was like touching this. Smooth. Right? Okay, so deployment time comes for real. Now we're going through pre-deployment everything where you go and you get your shots and you fix your paperwork and your dog tags, etc. Right? It's a big group of us. And there's this guy in front of me, and I notice he's wearing a pendant. And I just remark, hey, that's a cool pendant. He goes, thanks, I'm a shaman. I'm like, oh, really? Well, I'm pagan. I'm Wiccan at the time. I was Wiccan. And we got to talking. And keep in mind, I'm a chaplain's assistant. Okay? I have to filter for the chaplain. I set the appointments, I make sure people show up, etc. chaplains that do the paperwork, make the phone calls, take the phone calls. And here was a possible appointment. And I was like, oh, yeah? Well, you're a shaman, huh? Cool. And he starts talking about how he leads with, yeah, my wife is possessed. And I'm like, really? Okay. Chaplain assistant kicks in. This guy needs counseling. I need to filter him, right? I need to put him in the category of where he needs to go so the chaplain knows what he's in for. Tracking, right? Right. I have to say, sir, he checks this. I have to go, sir. He fits this profile here. Here you go. Right? The ball's in your court. I found this guy. You may want to take care of it. But I needed more information, right? So he invites me to dinner that night or the next night, something. I get over there. I meet them. Everybody's fine. We get pizza or something. We're drinking Cokes. And she goes, yeah, I'm really into demons. And he's looking at me like, be patient. From his perspective, I don't know what, right? I'm just getting to know these guys. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, why don't you show me? Because I'm still filtering. I'm still getting ready for a chaplain's appointment to get this guy either whatever needs to happen, right? Whatever needs to happen. Sometimes they get, what do they call it? Section 8, right? Mental. Sometimes they have physical problems that they're mistaking. I'm at the beginning of the process. So I'm talking to them, and she takes us into her computer room. They have a computer against the wall, air conditioner back here. It's going on low, which when it's in your face is high. It's blowing all over you, okay? And we're kind of cold, and, well, it's the desert, so I'm just, and she's getting into her forums. This is back in the days of dial-up. There was no Wi-Fi. We had modems. So she goes into her forums, and she's talking to the people who are interested in what she's interested in. Okay. In a few minutes, she starts clearing the throat a lot, right? And I'm like, must be the dust. We're in the desert. Must be the dust. With a filtered air conditioner behind us. Must be the dust. And she starts sweating with a filtered air conditioner right beside us. I'm talking like from here to there's the air conditioner on the other side of that platform, right? And she starts sweating and a little bit, wheezing. I'm like, I, meanwhile, have that stick. I have named it Mjol. Mjol. I just named it. It felt the right thing to do. Mjol. And they're like, yeah, that's neat. That's cool. Then we get on the forums and she's doing it. And all of a sudden, she has this, she like exhales. She through her mouth and her nose at the same time, but it's strained. She collapses on the top of her keyboard. And I'm like, me and him are like, oh, wow, whoa, we gotta help her, right? Rescue mode. Easy. We're both soldiers. So we take her on the couch in the living room. We bring her in the living room. Oh, wait, I gotta back up a little bit. I'm sorry. Before that happens, I'm sitting to her side, her right here. He's sitting on her left over there, and she's at the computer here. I have to set this up, right? She's the one that's haunted. I think they're crazy at this point, but then that begins to happen. But she keeps looking over. You know how you get your eyes attracted to something shiny in a room that's not so bright, and it's glowing or shiny? You tend to look at it, right? That's what she was doing with this stick. It was not shiny. It was a piece of wood, okay? She kept looking. She kept looking. She kept looking. And then finally, she reaches over. Remember what I said. This is worked now. It's seasoned. It's sanded. It's oiled, been oiled once or twice. No shellac or nothing like that. But it's smooth. Smooth, right? She reaches over. She barely touches it. And a splinter launches itself into her knuckle. right here, right into her knuckle, in her little pinky finger right here. And she's like, oh. And me and dude are like looking at each other like, oh, what just happened? And she goes, Nathan, you need to sand your stick, and goes to the bathroom to doctor herself, right? So she does. And he's like, may I please see this? You know, all properly. And I'm like, yes, you may. And he does this with the stick. He's like, there's no way you can get a splinter off this. I'm like, I know. There's no way to get a splinter off that. And she comes back, and then she has that and collapses on her keyboard. And we take her in the living room. I'm sorry I skipped over like that, but we take her in the living room, put her on the couch, and there's a little table, and it's not a big table. It's just a little. We just move it out of the way. We're like, hey, are you okay? And she's sitting on the couch, like this, right? She is all of this tall. All right, she's all of this tall. Tim, could you come up here? I want to show a difference in height, right? Absolutely. Now, this girl is all of this tall. Her husband, hopefully you can come over here for a second. Her husband is like taller than Tim is, okay? And he's built, we're all 20-something young in the military. We're buff. He's buff. He's like a football player, okay? He's that tall, towering over even me. Okay, thanks, man. So, but he's cool. But I just wanted you to know, she's this tall, he's this tall, right? Big dude, big, strong dude. Okay, she's on the couch, and we're like, do you need some water? And she's like, sweating. Tears coming down her eyes, but not crying, right? Just tearing up, but not crying, sweating. And then something happens. Something changes. She gets this look. Now she's Hispanic, so she has a Mexican accent. Normally, her accent changed. It was a different accent, but it was still her voice. It wasn't like in the movies or nothing. I don't think that happens too often, right? I think that happens on stuff like recorders and the radio and stuff like that. That's electronic voice. This was her voice, but her accent was different. And she starts talking about us, me and him, right? Saying how much she hates him. And she hates me too. And then this is what made it scary. She knew things about me that I had just met these people. All I had told them about was the El Paso time I've been there, Fort Bliss time. They knew nothing about me. They didn't even know where I was from. Nothing. She knew stuff about me, my mom, my dad, my family. I had no idea, right? And I tried to keep up talking trash to it. But it said things like, I'm thousands of years old and everybody's going to die, and, typical demon stuff that you do see in the movies. And then something happened that I said, I can't win at this person's being's game. Oh, by the way, not schizophrenic. Well, I'm not even reporting this. This is above the level of the chaplain's office, right? I'm not going to report this. This is like on me, and I got to deal. This is spiritual realm stuff, right? This is not chaplain's office. So I start deciding that I can't beat it at talking trash. So I have to use a different tactic, right? So I try to, there's no way I can identify with this thing, right? If it's real. I don't know if it's real, but if it is, I can't identify with this thing. And here comes husband, right? This was the freakiest part. All right. Remember how tall he is? Remember how tall he is? Okay. She's like this, skinny. He's like this, built. He goes to hug her. She's sitting in a prone position on a couch. Guys, she picked him up from that prone position and threw him through the house. Legs like that. Up in the air, in an arc. I was like, whoa. My hands were gripping that stick across my legs. I was sitting in the chair. My knuckles were white. This is the first time I had been scared like that. Oh yeah, sure. I've been scared. Traffic scares people, right? Mad dogs scare people. This is different. This was different. Angry people scare people. But this was the first time it was like in your bones, okay, for me. And she keeps talking to me. Why do you bring a weapon? If you swing it only, and I can't remember her name, Christy will be hurt. I'm like, this isn't for that. And that's when y'all know that song, this little, the Christian song, This Little Light of Mine. You know that one? I'm going to let it shine. It's a hymn, right? A gospel song. I discovered it. That little light. Okay. This would be a lot more dramatic if there was a room full of people. But whatever. Here we are.
Just imagine we're full of people.
I think others have showed up, but they're not hitting the cat lights. Okay. Well, that light turned on. And I started saying, you must be lonely. You have no one to talk to. You have no one to identify with. You must be lonely. It got mad. It lost its grip. And it was like, do not pity me. And then you could see it broke, right? And then she's like, at first had been like this, and she was like, help me. And I was like, I'm up, right? I'm doing this now. And I go, and I sit next to her. Now, she's this tall. She could have thrown me if she wanted to, even on a bad day, right? She could have thrown me. She didn't. She was like shaking and sweating and crying. And I'm like, okay, I got you now, right? Stick's over there. It's not a weapon, not a physical one, okay? And she comes back. It's over, right? She comes back. She's still crying. We are getting her a glass of water. We're eating some more pizza, making sure she's all right. Everything's fine, right? And that was the first scary experience. I knew this shit was real. Yeah. That would, okay. Would anyone like to ask any questions? Because
How long did you carve that oak stave for? You hear me okay? How long did you carve the oak stave for?
I did it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And I was going back and revisiting it. I'm glad you asked. I wanted to point on the walking stick, right? Point out some things. Churchyard, holy ground. It's holy ground. Okay? Doing duty. I was on duty. I was doing my duty. I meditated. That's meditation while I worked it, right? And I worked most of it in the courtyard, okay? And that is how you make a holy item. I had no idea. I get choked up, bro. Sorry. This stuff, this is some, like, soul knowing stuff here. And I was stumbling into it. What's going on? Like that. I didn't know what I was doing. But that's how you make what do you call it? A relic?
Yeah.
That's how one would call a relic. And everywhere I took that stick, everybody, I like that stick. I want that stick. I'm sorry. It's mine. Sorry. I want that stick. And no, you can't have it. And I drove around with it in my little truck in the dashboard. Somehow it fit like a glove. It went from edge to edge, didn't go over, fit the little nook. The bend went right over the speaker, perfect fit. I was like, huh. But yeah. And yeah, I didn't realize what I was doing. So yeah, that's that. And thanks for that. I needed to clarify that. What you got?
I'm just standing up, buddy.
Okay.
Stretch my legs.
All right.
Too long.
Okay, well, that's the haunted girl. I had pictures. I had a crazy picture to show y'all. Didn't look like me at all. I was going to go on that screen with that projector, but if you're here, you're quantum. Like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, everybody, for coming. Everybody's at work or stuck in the mud, literally. So whoever's here, yeah, I'm very appreciative of y'all coming to my show. Yeah, that's it for the haunted girl. So
Scott Blight 2875 says, did her eyes change at all?
the room was dark. They didn't glow. They didn't turn any color that I could see. And yeah, let's look at some. Yeah, read some questions if there are any. Her voice changed in the accent, only in the accent. It wasn't like it was a different Spanish accent, like a different kind of Spanish being spoken, and it was scary. That was the first time I'd been scared, but I came through it. And as a follow-up for those people, those two, the married couple, I tried to follow up with them. I tried to call them. They were blowing me off. Finally, they just blocked me and they ghosted me. I never saw them again. They didn't want to talk to me. I guess, I don't know why. They just never talked to me again. I tried to call them. I'm not going to go by their house because that's a little presumptuous. But I tried to call, try to email. They didn't want to talk. Left voice messages when that was a thing. What's up?
Renee Andrews says, do you have that stick now?
It was stolen. It was stolen out of my house. Long story short, it got stolen along with the belt buckle, the brass buckle that I got from my dad. Stolen, right? I feel for whoever took those items because those items had history and they now, what I call it, they were quantum linked. Something's up with it. And they did not, I'm sure they didn't appreciate what happened to them. It was beyond my control. I felt like it was beyond my control. I had no choice, right? In events happening. I didn't neglect, but yeah, the stick was stolen. Mjol was stolen. And it was crazy. The guy never talked to me again. The wife wouldn't even look at me. She wouldn't even look. I tried to call her phone. Blocked. Couldn't even get in touch. And I kept the stick for years after that. Took it to Germany. I don't know if you ever saw it in Germany, Tim, but I kept it in the room.
I may
right?
have casually, but you weren't exactly saying I have a holy rod.
Right. I didn't at the time. I was still learning about this stuff.
Right.
To me, it was just still a stick, right? It was one that I put together. It was a cool arts and crafts in my mind. It never came to me until we figured it out. Mm-hmm. You and I, Tim, we were talking online. I made the stick in courtyard, the holy ground of the church. I was meditating while I did it. You said, that's a fucking relic. Yes. And I was like, huh, I guess it is. And this was years later, right? I think we had just gotten DSL.
It was.
So yeah, Tim was the one that said, that's a relic. You created a relic? And I'm like downplaying. I'm like, well, I don't know. And Tim was like, yeah, you did. If all that happened, you did.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. Okay.
I'm not sure how to pronounce his username, but Urso Super.
Urso.
Yeah, Urso says, "Was that like a thunder stick? Question mark? Question mark."
No, but I was kind of leaning towards paganism. The Mjol near Hammer of Thor. I was kind of leaning towards that, but it was never. It never had a designation. It was what it was, and it never. I didn't consecrate it, other than I did, not knowing. But no, thunderstick. No, other people have asked that too. I remember I was asked that. Is that a thunderstick? I'm like, no, I didn't even know what a thunderstick was. Right? I found out, and then yeah, definitely not a thunderstick. What's up? Is mine
The
telling
unknown.
jokes again?
He's saying, "Did you play the Quantum Fest intro song? Welcome." Yes, we played it.
We did it for this show too. The flying eyeball. Has everybody seen the intro of the show? You saw it? You saw? I know. You gotta go watch the show. Like and subscribe. You're here. Therefore, what? You're quantum. Okay. Oh. Some of these stories really get me choked up, y'all. Okay? They really do. It's hard for me to tell that story. I may later tell the story of the cemetery, but not after that one. Okay, not after that one.
Urso, who, by the way, has been giving us great input tonight. I want to thank him for that. Says, anything you make with your energy and focus usually makes an infusion in mindset while meditating is what charged it.
Yeah. And it was linked. Now I call it linked. Before then, I didn't. I thought I was proud of it. I was happy that I made a quality oak. It was oak tree. It was an oak tree. And yeah, I made it, and everybody loved it or hated it.
Dit.55, Dorothy Hawkins, I believe, says,
Yes.
I can't tell from the little picture, says, have you had any encounters with haunted objects? Some reaction inside of you to it.
Could you read that again?
Have you had any encounters with haunted objects? Some reaction, in parentheses, some reaction.
A new topic. Yes. Dolls. Dolls. Leslie loves haunted dolls. Haunted dolls. She had one. It was one of those ceramic, vintage, life-size child dolls where, is everyone familiar with them? They're real tall. They're like this tall. Looks like a child, like a buddy for Victorian people, right? And she had one. You had to respect it. Wasn't quite Robert the doll. Okay. This was just, how dare you type punishment. Not like, we're going to cause your car to wreck. We're gonna like brake failure. Nothing like that. But yeah, they have reacted to me. I've sensed them. I hadn't learned how to do that yet, so I knew something was around. Now I call it a ping, where I feel something, and I hadn't learned to do that yet. But yeah, haunted object, the one that I know of, that doll, right? And it wasn't really bad. It was just somebody's kind of hoity-toity, that where if you didn't respect the doll, it would knock stuff over in her garage. If she didn't treat it right, it would knock things over in the garage. Everybody want to say it's rats. I'm like, no. These are big boxes that are getting knocked over. Not like a little thing like it. Bigger than this. Bigger than talking like apple or banana boxes full of clothes. Rats don't knock them over. But yeah, that's the one verified haunted object that I know of that I've been around. There was one more that she told me it was haunted, but I didn't have any contact with it. She looks on the internet. She found a 1960s vintage ventriloquist doll, right? And it had a small break on the not plastic, but that other stuff they used to use. The other stuff they used, Bakelite. Thing was made of Bakelite,
Bakelite.
right? The head was painted Bakelite, and the paint was in good shape, but like took a fall or something, right? And she says, "Oh, I love this thing." So her birthday was coming up, so I'm like, "I'm gonna buy it for her. I'm gonna buy it for her, and I'm gonna talk to the person." And I buy it for her. It gets to her. I'm like, "So is it haunted?" She goes, "Yes, it's haunted." I'm like, "No, what do you want it?" So I didn't really have nothing to do with it, but I trust her, so verified. And let me see. Anything else?
Not so far. It's now 5 o'clock.
Okay.
That was probably somebody's push.
What's our time on the video?
The video is 36 minutes.
36
37.
minutes?
37 now.
This is a good time for a segment to end. 36 minutes. Half an hour. That's good. That's good. This has been The Haunted Girl. I will edit, leave links in the description for everybody involved, right? So thanks, everybody. Take us out.
It's